Hey, and welcome to Sue Rogers Unedited. I'm going to jump right into what I'm going to talk about today because I'm going to take you on a journey for a moment and really just give me a second to talk through it, okay? So, you know how you can look on a weather app or watch the news and see the weather, and then walk outside and have the weather be completely different from whatever the app or news says is happening right at that moment. Like there have been times when I've looked at the weather app and it says that it's raining and you walk outside and it's sunny. Completely different, right? Or vice versa. It's like, oh, it's sunny, but you walk outside and it's like freezing and whatever else is going on, like temperature wise. Um, so what I'm getting at here is people predicting the weather, they're just guessing. Sure, there's science behind it or whatever they may be looking at to see patterns, but they're not right a lot of the time. Your own perception of reality when you walk outside is completely different a lot of times from what's on your weather app or what's on the news. Think of that with everything that you see on social media or the TV or wherever it is that you get information from. The minute you step away from wherever you're getting that information and go out into the real world and talk to real people that you know and look around and see what's going on in your own neighborhood, it's probably completely different than what you are being fed via social media and the news and whatever. Just think about it for a minute, okay? You may have all kinds of rebuttals and arguments for me on this, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying this is the observation that I made the other day. So when I'm teaching yoga, I've taught yoga now for like 20 years. When we get to relaxation, I do a lot of meditative thinking. While the rest of the class is in their deep relaxation, I do not go fully into deep relaxation because if I do, then nobody knows when to wake up and when class is over. So I sit there and reflect and I let thoughts float into my head without any judgment, without any preconceived notions. Like things pop into my head and I just contemplate them. And this was something that popped into my head just yesterday while I was teaching yoga. What's really happening out in the world, and all of our perceptions are different based on our upbringing, based on our own preconceived notions of the world. There's so many different things that factor into reality, but chances are what we're looking at in the digital space is not what's really happening outside. Just like the weather people get it wrong, and they're just trying to make estimated guesses, right? Well, a lot of times news and media and social media outlets are trying to push whatever they want to push to get higher ratings. They don't really care if it's true or not either. And a lot of them are outright lying. Like at least the weather people are trying to get it right and making mistakes because you cannot 100% predict Mother Nature. Nobody can. But the other people, news outlets, media, social media, they have hidden agendas for sure. They will make things, tweak headlines to grab you and pull you in that really, once you read the article, have nothing to do with anything in the article, but all you read is the headline and then you're fired up. But if you go outside, talk to your neighbor, and this is the biggest thing from the last 3 years too, is that like I've seen stuff on social media, but I also go, wait a minute, let me see what's happening out in the real world. Let me call some of my friends. Let me talk to real people that I know personally and see what they're experiencing in life. It's usually not anything like what we're being force fed. So that's kind of what I had for you guys today. Just really be reflective on what you allow into your brain and what you're really reacting to, and don't give things a reaction that don't deserve them. If you see a piece of information and you think, oh my gosh, before you react, stop, step back, take a moment, and think about what you're really experiencing in your life around you. And then instead of just, reacting, be proactive. Biggest way to really be proactive is not by just posting on social media and hear somebody like, I post on social media. Most of us do. But if you really want to be proactive and involved in making any kind of change, you got to start in your own community. You get overwhelmed thinking, oh my gosh, this big issue is happening. How are we going to handle this? How are we going to tackle this? I'm just one person. Start locally where you are. Get involved with your local county board of supervisors. Go sit in on some of those meetings. That's the first time I ever did that was starting 3 years ago. Actually getting involved in my local community besides just with friends and family. Because change can happen at the local level when you all are involved. And if you feel like the world is getting a little crazy with things, that's where you start, because that's where you can make the biggest impact. And then just really take a deep breath. If it's a day where the sun is shining and the weather people got it right, go out, enjoy the sunshine, and realize that like this is such a small blip in time that we are around for. And how do you really want to spend it? Spending it proactively, positively, making changes where you can, being a part of good? Or do you want to be reactive and angry and stressed and have all that harbor in your heart and soul? So think about that too, and hope you guys have a good one. If you've been listening and still tuning in, I appreciate you guys. You can find me on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube. You can always check me through my website, www.balancedaylife.com. I'm always looking for topics now and guests. My first actual real guest is going to be tomorrow. So stay tuned for all of that. And if you would love to do a short chat with me too on deep dive right into a real conversation, no small talk, let's do it. All right, have a good one.